Hey, Satanico here once again for Godlovescomics, and this is the Swamp Thing reading, Alan Moore's Swamp Thing, Part 7. Already all the way up to Part 7. So this is, technically this begins at issue number 40, September 1985, and if I remember correctly in the prior episodes, or the prior episode, we had Swamp Thing encountered... first of all, he encountered John Constantine Hellblazer. That was a very crucial meeting for him. And then he subsequently defeated or destroyed an underwater coven of vampires that were in Illinois, of all places. So, if you haven't listened to that episode yet, just go back to part 6, and it's very good, as all of the episodes are, all of the issues, I should say. And through Constantine, Swamp Thing discovered something really crucial in his power to sort of dissolve his physical being back into the ecology, and then reform himself almost instantaneously somewhere else, almost anywhere else on the planet now, because he's really just a fabrication of plant life. And so, you know, his psyche is, he's able to, you know, his psyche is invested in the ecology all throughout the earth. So he's basically able now to almost teleport himself anywhere that he wishes to be. And that makes him able to easily transport to anywhere in the country, which Constantine is kind of running him around all over the country to places where he's needed. And then also he's able to reform back in the bayou to be with Abby. So that's where we left off, and as you can see, this is the cover, again by Steve Bissett. It looks like JT, so I would assume that's still John Totleben, as the credits suggest. And it looks like we're going to have some werewolves now after vampires. So Alan Moore is getting into some of the classic tropes of horror as well. And of course, he does everything a little bit better than everyone else, so it won't be cliche. The Muzak system hums Moon River beneath its breath, and she wonders briefly why women's lives should be punctuated with blood. Taking the Bray package from the shelf, she places it in her basket. Here's good news for housewives. Electric-plated nickel-silver steak knives. Special set price sale. And Feminex matte napkins. So that's really fascinating. It looks like she has a wine bottle. So say that's red wine, which is similar to blood. Steak and, you know, meat and beef, also blood. And then also her period. So she's getting tampons, so all blood. So there's the clever sort of statement about women's lives being punctuated by blood. And then of course there's the violence that is inherent throughout. Long ago, the Pinamaquat women were taken each month by their grandmothers and confined in the Red Lodge. The lodge stood upon stilts, that its dark and sullen female power should not taint the earth. She considers them heavy and aching, squatting for days in the stifling blackness of the lodge. They were forbidden to stand or lie down or see the moon. They could touch nothing, even themselves. Their food was passed to them on sticks beneath the silent gaze of their parchment-faced elders. The checkout lady places the package in a paper bag as if to protect her other groceries and demands $7. She pictures them sweltering in the airless shadow, cool moonlight outside silver and unattainable. All she can imagine is their anger. Over breakfast that morning, she'd argued with Roy. Walking home, she replays the dialogue inside her head, revising the script to give herself all the lines she was too reticent or slow to say aloud. There's an advertisement. Freshness and confidence have never been so simple. Autumn morn, disposable douche. With the gentle scent of white flowers for the real woman in you. Their anger in darkness turning. Hot and uncomfortable, her thoughts seem to be made of the jagged tin. They jangle together as she walks. Behind the glass at Stein's adult books, numb-eyed women stare through zippered leather mask. Their anger in darkness, turning, unreleased, unspoken, in mouth, a red wound. In the street, yellow dogs are barking. Full of something without a name, the good wife goes home to prepare her husband's table. Their anger in darkness, turning unreleased, unspoken, its mouth a red wound, its eyes hungry, hungry for the moon. So you clearly see him setting up the prose of forthcoming werewolves, I would assume. Same creative team, and there is Swamp Thing kissing Abby. Before a full moon, by the way. Welcome back. You know, you weren't away as long as I expected. I don't think I'd realized how fast you can travel now, letting your body die in one place and regrowing it somewhere else.
It is strange to know that I am but a step away from anywhere in the world, and comforting to understand that anywhere in the world I am only a step away from you.
I hadn't thought of it like that. Hey, that's really nice. Alec, what about Constantine? Do you have him figured out yet? I don't know. I mean, he's leading you all over the country, promising you knowledge, but do you really trust him?
No. He hints at some great threat, some conspiracy that manifests itself in supernatural outburst across the continent. But he is evasive. He plays some deeper game. I do not care to be manipulated. Tomorrow, I shall meet him at Kennesaw in Maine. After that, I shall follow him no further.
Are you sure? I mean, I know I didn't like you leaving at first, but that was just me being selfish. If you want this knowledge he's offering.
He offers no knowledge that I could not have arrived at by myself. I want to stay here, Abby, in Louisiana, with you.
She looks at him lovingly. You know what? You don't ask me to feed you or tidy the swamp or iron shirts. And I get fresh flowers all year round. You're just the sort of person I imagined marrying when I was little. To tidy the swamp. Except, you know, not green. And without all the patches of fungus. Kennesaw, Maine. Roy, Phoebe. I gotta hand it to you. This sure is a swell house you landed here. And you say it's got history? Well, you know, only Indian history. Used to be some sort of lodge. Stood here, it was where the Indians sent their squaws when they started to get cranky around that time of the month. You can see the look on the face of the lady serving tea. I guess his wife. Myself, I don't blame him. Phoebe knows more about it than me. You read a book, ain't that right, dear? Their anger. Turning in darkness. In darkness turning. I'm sorry. Yes, that's right. More coffee? Sure, but no more cookies for Joni here. She's still trying to get her figure back after the kids, and that was 2 years ago. They ate from sticks like lepers, and the gourds that they sipped water from were afterwards smashed and burned without trace. Their anger in darkness turning, unreleased, unspoken. Entering the kitchen, a wave of vague and centerless panic sweeps over her. She lifts a spoon and her flesh crawls at the contact. It is silver, but not the kind she needs. The thought surprises her. What kind of silver does she need? Not hard, not cold, not mined or smelted or shaped by man. Their anger, in darkness turning, unreleased, unspoken, its mouth a red wound, its eyes hungry, hungry for the moon. Something soft and insistent seems to rise in her throat, pushing its way up from inside her. And she turns from the window and shivers, swallowing hard, and she makes the coffee, and after their visitors have gone, Roy remarks that her eyebrows need plucking. And that night she sleeps facing the wall. All the next day her stomach aches as if something savage and restless were curled there. Something that shifts and twists, impatient. It's incarceration. You see all the implements of domesticity, laundry soap, the Feminix sanitary napkins again, a shopping list, the aspirin that she needs probably to get through a day without a headache, and some money probably for groceries and whatever. So what Ellen Moore is doing here is turning everything sort of upside down in terms of a werewolf. It's more like a werewoman. And it's women constantly feeling repressed by the cliched and antiquated societal roles they've been put into, in terms of being told, that they're unclean during that time of the month, and the guy referencing his wife not getting her figure back so she can't have another cookie, and, the past tribe, feeding women with a stick because they were so unclean, and then smashing the gourds that they sipped water from. All of this is just building up into the anger that is manifested by this werewolf. Something growing. And it seems like Swamp Thing has sprouted himself up in Kinniskook, Maine. Indeed he has. Kinniskook. No sooner am I formed than I feel the power of this place crashing in upon me. It is an old power, a primal power, a power like my own, a dark beacon. It pulses to me, like calling to it will not be difficult to find. Phoebe, geez, Phoebe. I've been looking for you all night. What are you doing out here? The dinner was supposed to be ready half an hour ago. Not hungry. Don't want dinner. Their anger and darkness turning. Oh, really? What is this, some new diet fad that you saw on TV while I was working? What about my dinner? Their anger and darkness turning, unreleased and unspoken. Leave me alone. Go away. Oh, I get it. It's PMS, right? As if that were an excuse for everything. Phoebe, I've taken enough of this crap. If you've got something to say, if you want an argument, then let's hear it. Well, their anger and darkness turning, unreleased, unspoken, his mouth a red wound, its eyes hungry. Well, come on, Phoebe. Just spit it out. I don't think you're going to like what she spits out. Hungry for the moon. Phoebe! Ugh. Ugh. And this is a unique transformation of a werewolf. literally burst from inside and leaves a hollow skin body, a shell behind, which I guess it crawls back inside of. So that's sort of the sublimated anger. Phoebe! And it howls. I'm not going to do that. Oh, God. Oh, God. Phoebe. Phoebe, I'm calling the police. You hear me? Don't think that's going to help. Phoebe, I didn't mean it. I didn't mean any of it. Oh, God, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Huh? Help. Help me. Somebody. Please help me. Oh, God. Somebody, please help me. And now he sees something that's almost as scary as Phoebe, but a lot more benign. And it looks like he just faints and passes out between the two of them. And now Swamp Thing, if you can see in this panel, he's equally shocked by what he's faced with. In my mind, I hear my own voice speaking, saying, I am of the earth. What are you? And in my mind, another voice answers, I am woman. Stand not between me and my wrath. Beautiful zoom in close-up shots there. In her, as in me, the elemental energies are strong. We stare into each other's eyes, and I understand that I do not have the right, the authority to stay her hand. Only the necessity to do so. But this is not my place of power. It is hers. And she hurls him right through the wall of the house. And necessity alone is not enough. Oh no, Phoebe! Phoebe, please! Phoebe, please don't! I love you, I swear. I've always loved you. Oh God, don't kill me. Don't kill me. The maddening stench of his fear is in her nostrils. She notes without surprise that he has soiled himself. Wretched man. Pathetic man. She draws back her paw. One blow will remove the top of his head. Ugly man. Cowardly man. And in the end, she still cannot bring herself to do it. She understands at last the nature of woman's curse, and she shrieks her despair at the moon-bleached sky. So the nature of woman's curse would be that by nature they are non-violent, unlike men. So even as a werewolf, even enraged and disgusted, she couldn't bring herself to just decapitate him, because that's really the woman's curse, that they're actually they're non-violent, technically, at least by Moore's messaging here. The anger crashes blindly around her, with nowhere to go, tearing at herself, raking its own flesh with frustrated talons. She destroys the greenhouse and the mailbox and the car. And it isn't enough. She runs, and the night is too small a thing to contain the fury within her. So, enraged by not years, not her years on the planet, but eons of patriarchal domination, I guess, and, forced societal roles on the planet, is the anger that's burning inside of her, and still doesn't take it out on a human being or another organic creature. Instead, she just destroys a bunch of material things like the car and the mailbox. But she's so enraged by all of this that, she runs off. Oops. The main street stretching before her is a smeared montage of noise and movement drenched in the cold bronze moonlight. The sidewalk is hard and unyielding beneath her feet, and she breaks a claw. Smug and smocking, the images of her slavery rise up around her like nagging ghosts, secure in their victory. She knows then that there is no escaping the Red Lodge, for its cruel essence is in all things, and the Red Lodge is everywhere. They were kept in the dark squatting, there with nothing to dwell upon beyond the fact that they were unclean. Even the touch of their shadow would sour the land, blighting the crops that grew there. At the end of their confinement, they were led out blinking into the harsh and masculine glare of the sunlight. Their clothing was taken from them and destroyed, their anger in the darkness turning, unreleased, unspoken, its mouth a red wound. She actually goes into the bridal gown store and tears apart the mannequin. In Stein's adult books, wreathed in the dismal perfume of sweat and loneliness, the men carried out their transactions. Hey, this ain't a library. No spying without buying. Sign back there says, hellhole, man trap from below. Sins of the flesh, autoerotica. This stuff ain't no good anyway. You got any other merchandise maybe lying around someplace out back? Could be. What kind of stuff you looking for? Well, you know, I'm looking for something unusual. Okay, well, you got it. There is a cinema fetish, Big Daddy, Doggy Delight, which is Junior Jailbait, Big Mama Jama. So definitely having some fun with these titles. I catch up with her as she leaves the gutted bookstore. All about us, people are screaming.
Please, you must let me help. You must tell me what it is that you want.
I am woman. I seek release from this stifling place that has been built for me.
I cannot give you that release.
Then give me death. Her voice tolls inside my mind, deep and sad and alone. She turns and she runs away from me. I do not try to stop her. She's just a tragic figure because she's so tortured by the patriarchy, for lack of a better term, for lack of a better, so it's a politically correct term. And so she's just suffering because this world feels like a cage. And yet, as you see, Swamp Thing's not beating her up. He's not fighting her. He's not trying to stop her. He feels her pain. He understands her pain. And he also doesn't want to. He's a vegetable, so he's not technically any gender, but he doesn't want to dominate her in the same way that men have, or in the same way that mankind has. He doesn't want to impose his will. Behind the glass, a machine sings lullabies to the sleepwalking wives who push their squeaking shopping carts beneath the fly-blown neon lights. The supermarket is an avalanche of smells: soap, powder, cheese, disinfectant, and above all, the odor of women's lives grown irrevocably stale. The Red Lodge is everywhere. Why does no one see it? Why do they shuffle so passively into that darkness? She tears at it with the lacerated paws, trying to rip away its impersonal strip-lit mask and reveal the fetid shadows beneath. Their eyes are dull and uncomprehending. They see nothing but her fury, her useless fury. Before her tear-fogged eyes, she sees the glint of silver on cheap cutlery. It's a poor kind of moonlight. It's a poor kind of freedom. She's going to try to kill herself. But in the end, it's the only kind she has. No! Really tragic. Scotch. Outside. Don't want to die indoors. Geez, what is it? I saw that big dog go crashing in there. Oh God, it's got a woman. Why doesn't somebody do something? Thank you. Was Roy all right? Yes. Good. That's good. Oh, look at the moon. She's so beautiful. I leave her there, doused in blood and moonlight, and I walk away. No one tries to stop me. Really heartbreaking, because she even still cared about her husband at the end, but she was just tormented by how oppressed she feels. And she didn't want to die inside that ode to domesticity, the grocery store, and carried her out, and so she died in the moonlight. Very sad. Later. Evening.
Constantine, I was wondering when you would arrive.
Wanted to know where you were off to next, eh? Well, I've got your travel instructions on this piece of paper here.
I do not care. Wherever it is, I do not wish to go. I'm returning home to Louisiana.
Really? Fair enough.
You don't appear to be concerned.
Why should I be? It's a free world, Chief. You go where you like. See you around. So the paper he dropped actually says Louisiana. Which typically isn't a good thing, because where Constantine has sent him so far, there's been obviously some major problems, but that also suggests why Constantine is not that concerned about him turning him down, because he wants to go back to Louisiana anyway, and that's exactly where Constantine was sending him to. Next issue is Southern Change. And another fantastic cover, where this obviously suggests voodoo in the bayou. Some Cajun voodoo or Haitian, Caribbean. And this issue is Alamore Steve Bissett, and this time inked by the great Alfredo Akela. And beautiful cover there. What do they think about in their beds beneath the ground? What do the dead people think about? When the summer earth swelters, when roots press against their backs like creases in the bed sheets, when sleep won't come, what notions do they entertain in those frail parchment bulbs that were once their skulls? The party continues overhead with songs heard before and dances long since wearied of. Slumbering below, is it a consolation that as with roots and trees, all things above are determined by what lies buried beneath. Certainly suggest zombies. Dreaming amongst the foundations of the world. Are they content? Do the yellowing ribs still grate together in a nostalgic parody of breath? Do the dry sockets thirst for one final glimpse of the sky? Tongueless, do they fondly repeat old dialogues, headstones tilting together to share a grievance? What do they talk about in their beds beneath the ground? What do the dead people talk about? And which voices are the loudest? See a couple of really clever sides here. You've got John Tolleben's name on one of these. And in the foreground, which I almost overlooked, it says James Marshall Hendricks, which I assume Marshall is Jimi Hendrix, right next to John Tolleben, who may be a big fan of Jimi Hendrix. Maybe that's the joke, or maybe it's just someone is. Oops. Charlotte, you are tainted. You are repulsive to me. Do you understand? Repulsive. This thing that you have consorted with, this lower than animal, between you, you fouled the name of Roberta Land. You are no longer fit to bear my children. Oh, no. Oh, Wesley, please. Now, Charlotte, here has often said that we're all no different beneath the skin. I propose we put that to the test. Take this creature downstairs to the cellar and flay it. Oh, God, Wesley, no. Mr. Jackson, please, Mr. Jackson, I didn't mean no harm. The lady asked me in. Miss Jackson, tell them to let go of me. Wesley, I'll do anything. Please, please stop. Please, Wesley. Wesley, you're hurting my arm. Where are you taking? You're coming to watch, Charlotte. All right. Over by that post will do fine. No, 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 no. Oh, God. Now, shall we begin? Guess we'll find out what's happening on the next page, but it suggests maybe a slave owner or something of the sort. Maybe killing a mixed race baby. But that's just a guess. And here is the creative team. Swamp Thing, Southern Change. Everybody is the same except for Alfredo Akela, longtime artist for DC and Marvel. Both pencils and inks. Did a lot of Conan the Barbarian as well. Some really cool illustrations in the margins, all suggesting voodoo, including, of course, the bloody rooster. Alec.
Yes.
Could you run that by me again about Constantine wanting you to come to Louisiana? It sounds to me like he's just leading you around by the nose.
He claims the darkness that's stirring within this country will shortly manifest itself here. Perhaps he tells the truth. Have you noticed anything?
Nope. Even the kids up at the home. Oops. Even the kids up at the home have been quiet lately. It's shaping up into a good summer. I hear even the work situation's looking up a little around the TV people arrived. Since the TV people arrived.
TV?
Yeah, they're doing this big soap opera that's going to knock Dynasty right out of the Nielsen's. It's this sort of historical thing about the plantations. They're shooting it up at the old Jackson house. Also, they're casting lots of local black people as slaves because outsiders don't look right. So, like, all of these descendants of the liberated slaves are earning good money by becoming slaves again. Is that funny or sad?
It's human.
Okay, so that's what that may have been, is the soap opera. And the darkness coming that he's suggesting, I would suggest it has, because it's coming to America, I would suggest it has something to do with the bubbling undercurrent of racism, since he's already dealt extensively with feminism. Although I'm sure that will continue as well. Yeah, I guess. I mean, I was thinking of, going over by there and just to hang out, and gawk at the celebrities. I mean, Angela Lamb is in it, and Richard Deal and Billy Carlton. Nobody you'd know. That's cute that he sits at the base of the tree and gives her a leg up so she can lay on the branch. Alec, this traveling business, letting your body die in one place and growing a new one somewhere else, doesn't it make you sort of feel disconnected?
Disconnected.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've always thought of your body as you, but now it's just something you dress up in occasionally. I don't know. I mean, sometimes I feel as if you're somewhere else and I'm hugging your jacket.
I am changing, Abby. But I know that whatever I change into, it will always love you. This quiet that you feel is unnecessary.
No. It's human. Being a little paranoid, being a little jealous, and being a lot confused is all very human. It's human. Someone did some tests and make sure bloodstain must be more than a century old. Oh, that's just repulsive. Well, I guess I'll clean the whole place up before shooting starts. Sorry. So it won't offend you for much longer. Watch that step there, it's rotted. I wish they'd clean up some of the extras. Angela, that's an incredibly racist comment. Oh, I'm racist, but Carlton's black power stuff is okay because he's black, right? Honestly, Richard, everything he says, you just lap it up. It's pathetic. Oh, now look, that's really oversimplifying a complex political situation. Oh God, Richard, grow up. Stand up next to the mountain. Chop it down with the ledge of my hand. Stand up next to the mountain, chop it down with the ledge of my hand. Probably not getting the melody right on that. Anyway, if you're so averse to Billy Carlton, how come you signed up for a series playing love scenes opposite him? If you're so averse to racism, how come you signed up to play a slave boss? I'm doing it for the money, you twit. Plus, I get a stand-in for physical contact scenes. Oh, wow. She's pretty racist. This is good because they're going to address racism head-on here. No better place than Louisiana, unfortunately. Sorry, Louisiana. I'm sure you've changed. I don't care how big she is or how good she'll be for this series. That woman is a sow and a bigot, and I ain't touching her, understood? So he wants a stand-in for his physical contact scenes as well. So we use a stand-in? No problem. Man, I don't see nothing but problems. Look at this place. How long's it been standing, empty, falling apart like this? Billy, we can fix it. Listen, try to relax. Round this series a little. Frankly, since Breaking Even didn't do such great box office, your career needs a series like this. That's irrelevant. I'm doing this show so I can make a political statement. Nothing else matters except, Billy. Hey, Billy, what's with you? You spaced out or something? Listen, after Breaking Even, I thought we had an agreement. No blow around the set. What? Billy. Why do you do this to me? Come on, let's get some fresh air. And listen, don't worry about the series. Like the lady said, tomorrow's another day. So Billy's probably a pretty famous movie star whose career is in a valley because of a failed movie, and so he agreed to take this role. From his agent's standpoint, it's a role to revive his career. From Billy's standpoint, he just wants to make a political statement. And Billy also has a little bit of a history himself with cocaine. That's why the blow reference. But obviously him spacing out here probably has nothing to do with that and everything to do with something far more supernatural. Mystère de Grande Saint-Anne. That's my excellent French accent. Hey, are you coming in? It's terrific.
No. At night I do dry so quickly. And when I'm saturated, I feel heavy, uncomfortable.
So, let the wet body dry and grow a dry one. Who's watching?
I do not think so. You were right earlier. I must restrain myself in the use of these abilities, lest I forget what I am.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't be the first. I called by the film set today and picked up a little part-time gopher work. Some of those actors, I think they just lose touch with reality, you know? It affects our personalities.
In what way?
I don't know. Maybe I've been hanging around you too long, but they all seem agitated and hostile. There's a lot of bad blood going around that place. A lot of tension. Bad blood, and there's a mosquito there in the foreground. Forget it. Listen, either the line goes or I go. I'm most powerful sorry, Miss Rebecca. Geez, you seriously expect me to do this step and fetch it stuff? Director Dennis Linder. Billy, it's early days. All we're doing are some preliminary rehearsals while they renovate this dump. We're certainly not closed to the input on script level, but if you don't like the line, we'll change it. If anybody's open to my input, I say we keep the line and get rid of him. Angie. You hear that, man? You think I'm going to get down on my knees and say, I'm most powerful sorry to the great white whale over there after that? What? Children, please. Now listen, everybody calm down, okay? We just finished running through this scene and then we'll call it a day. Billy, just try to do it for me. If you don't like the line, improvise. Yeah, well, just this one bit, and that's it. Fine, okay, Billy. We're ready when you are. I'm afraid of this improvisation. Billy. I think Billy's being possessed. You look beautiful. That's great. It's not in the script, but it's great. Do your usual, your same as usual, Angela. Please, those are not proper sentiments for someone of your station. Miss Charlotte, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to speak out of turn. You gonna have to tell the master about this? No, that won't be necessary. Terrific, Billy. I love it. That new dialogue. We'll leave it in. Just try to remember that Angela's character is called Rebecca. Where the hell did Charlotte come from? Charlotte? Billy, my man, that was some hot performance, bro. Huh? Hey, listen, leave me alone, okay? And quit with the my man stuff. Us colored folk don't say that anymore. But, Billy, you know, I mean, I don't mean to appear patronizing in any way. Just shove it, okay? I'm gonna go someplace away from you turkeys. Colored folk and turkeys are, I don't even know if those were in vogue at this time. Geez, what's with those people? Maybe he's just got tired of you being such an ingratiating liberal jerk all the time. You know, for once I sympathize with him. Hey, why pick on me? What did I do? Come on, Angie. You still want to go down to New Orleans for seafood tonight? Get a change of scenery? No thanks, Richard. Suddenly I think that I like the scenery around here just fine. So like from what I saw, they just bitch and argue all the time. I don't know why I took on the work out there. It's not like I really need the money. Just morbid curiosity, I guess. That Billy Carlton acts sort of weird. I heard he does a lot of cocaine and stuff, so maybe, I don't know.
Please excuse me for one moment.
A bird. Is it dying?
Yes. The dark approaches. It is afraid. Hush, little one. It is not so terrible. Just let go of the bane of the flesh. Fear not, for the universe is kind. There.
Oh, is it dead? Alec. Alec, what are you doing with it? I think he inserted it into his body. I do believe. Maybe when next we see him, he'll have a little bird, a dead bird inside of him. July 29th, offering of the food of the Maîtresse Silverine, offering of flowers to Maîtresse Lorvana, which I believe is probably French Haitian, but don't quote me on that. Hey, what's with the extras? Where do all the flowers and stuff come from? God knows, I guess it's somebody's birthday. You know, some of them have been sleeping out here at nights, you go figure. Well, they seem happy enough. Hey, we rehearsing indoors today? They got it fixed up? No, but the floor is safe to stand on. So I thought we'd run through some of the interior scenes. Ah, hello, Richard. Hello, Angela. Okay, if everybody's ready, we'll do the confrontation scene. Oh, boy. Listen, Dennis, I'm still having trouble with the character here. Thinking like a racist. It's so difficult. Sure. What? And you thinking like a slave comes in easier to me? Carlton, that's not what I meant, and you know it. Oh, for God's sake, will you two drop it? Billy, it's your cue. Mr. Davenport, I resent these things you're saying. Fine. Okay, Richard. Richard? Richard? So this mansion is sort of possessed with the spirits of the slaves and the slave owners. And so eventually, every time they start to do a scene, the actors who are having so much trouble getting into character basically transform into these long dead slaves and slave owners underground who are possessing their bodies, apparently. So now they're getting in the scene and they're acting incredibly well because they're not acting at all. They're kind of possessed. Richard? Richard? You resent. How dare you? You're not fit to speak to me. You're not fit to lick my shoes. It isn't your place to resent anything, swap. You people are damn lucky to work here at Roberta Land. Damn lucky. Thwap, thwap, thwap. And you said you were having problems, Richard. That was fabulous. One thing, will you please remember that Roberta Land is the name of the real plantation? And the show is called Providence. Billy, what happened? Jeez. I didn't mean to hit you like that. Hit me? What is it, some kind of head trip or something? Hit me with what? Okay, everybody try everything. Try something from the next scene. Cut to the evening. From the distant house, the sound of the people laughing, people clapping, borne on the night wind. Abby said that the extras often stay overnight. What is it that attracts them to this dismal place? Only this graveyard stands silent, apart from the mansion, forgotten and overgrown. Around its perimeter, someone has drawn a pattern in coarse salt upon the dark earth. Why? Treading between the cold stones, I have a sense of other patterns concealed beneath the world's skin, buried mazes that still determine the paths of those who walk above. Within my breast, the bird is almost gone, its salts broken down and absorbed into the spirit long since flown. Where the spirits here as lucky, their prison has not been allowed to decay. Across the field, the renovation continues, decomposition running in reverse, as if towards a new birth. How long will this strange pregnancy endure? How long before it's completed? A rebirth suggests them bursting from the ground, but who knows? And also the fact that the locals who are playing extras stay here overnight suggests some connection to this, of course. Perhaps some kind of voodoo that transposes their ancestors' bodies into the bodies of the actors. August 25th, communion table of Dan Wedo. Isn't she a beauty? Even working day and night. I don't know how this hotel got fixed up so fast. I guess it's like patients in a hospital some places. Just have a will to recover. When does shooting start? In 4 days' time. You've all had long enough to rehearse and soak up the atmosphere of the location. I figure we're ready. One thing's for sure. We're getting ready for something. Those aren't spirituals they're singing there, you know. They have their own religions. Those people, they had good jobs and good prospects. But stick them out here, they revert to type. Richard, what are you talking about? Why, the colored, of course. Who else would you be talking about? Richard, don't you mean the extras? Sure, the extras. Isn't that what I said? Wonder where the others are. Probably inside someplace, poring over their lines. Elements of the previous slave owner are seeping into Richard's consciousness, apparently. And Carlton, or Billy, actually is actually doing lines of coke, or Carlton, I should say. Carlton, what are you doing here? Listen, I'd be grateful if you wouldn't tell my manager about this. I promise I wouldn't do it around on the set. I just kind of get depressed around here. It's this place. Listen, you gonna tell my manager? No, that won't be necessary. Listen, Billy, I know we've had our differences, but, well, next to Richard, you don't look so bad. I hate to see you become slave to this white junk. You deserve better, much better. I suppose that once shooting starts next Thursday, we'll be seeing a lot of each other. Maybe I can help take your mind off this stuff. Well, thanks, Charlotte. I'd like that a lot. That's Angela. Straighten yourself out, Billy. Keep away from the white lines. Slave to the white stuff, slave to the white people. You can almost see where their initial antipathy as actors is dissolving away, and they're becoming the people that they're playing from the past who actually had, I think, a love affair. So you can see a lot of empathy growing between the two of them. Caricatures, African American caricatures here. All these cool, weird, little things here. Very fitting, perhaps, that Alfredo Akela inked this. August 29th, Mystère Lorient. Oh, mistress, I'm sorry, I didn't see you there. Mistress. Alice, it's me, Abby Cable. I came with the kids up Elysium Lawns, where you were serving lunches. You working part-time out here, too? Miss Cable. I'm sorry, I didn't recognize you. Hey, no sweat. I've been running around the city all morning, and all around the set all morning. And I'm pretty vacant, too. Plus, I'm working at home this afternoon. The home? Oh, yeah, sure. Hey, what's with the salt? Is something the film people asked you to do? They trying to keep slugs out of the graveyard here or something? No, it ain't for keeping nothing out. I don't know. I just felt like something I ought to do, Sure. Listen, Alice, this sun is getting pretty fierce. Maybe you ought to go indoors. Oh, the sun don't worry me, mistress. Gonna be dark soon enough. Gonna be real dark. Like I see her at the home every day, but I don't know. She acted really confused. It's that place. It's got a real atmosphere hanging over it. The more I think about what Constantine said with Louisiana being next and everything, the more I think you should check it out.
I went there some weeks ago. The atmosphere was strange, but there was nothing that I could define. If it has grown worse, perhaps I should revisit the place. Perhaps tomorrow.
Alec, I don't know. I think maybe we should go there tonight. I know it was the first day of filming, but the atmosphere around the set was so electric. Like everybody was waiting for something.
Very well. If you're concerned, we can go there now.
Right. You aren't going to say that it's too dangerous and that I should stay here or anything?
I have too great a respect for your strength. The idea would be ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Ridiculous. So she's a little bit afraid actually to go for herself, but at the same time, you know, it's kind of a nice affirmation that she's not just the weak little girlfriend who has to stay behind while the hero, the male hero, goes out and deals with the trauma. This is ridiculous. We're supposed to be shooting night footage and everybody wants to party. Who gave anybody permission to light these fires? Where's Charlotte? What? I said, where's Angela? Haven't seen her around any place. Oh, who cares? This whole show is out of control. Nobody takes any notice of me. I mean, that costume you're wearing, it isn't the one I specified. Dennis, I asked if you had seen Angela. Angela's probably away with Billy, a.k.a. Carlton. Yep. Sorry. Oh, that's okay. That's driving me crazy. All I'm doing is trying to adjust the picture, and of course, by clicking it, it keeps going to the next page automatically. Well, yeah. I mean, I thought I saw her and Billy go inside earlier. What of it? Anyway, I mean, I thought she'd been giving you the cold shoulder lately. Why? Inside together? Yeah, so what? Listen, Richard, I mean, I don't have to put up with this madness. My contract says I needn't tolerate unreasonable behavior. Want to read it? You two, come with me. Right away, Mr. Wesley. It's in my contract, Richard. It's in black and white. Yeah, everything's black and white. Billy, what are you thinking about? I don't know. I mean, I just feel like there's something wrong with all of us. You know, with you and me and everything. It's been hard for me coming to terms with this. Look at me, Billy. We're from different backgrounds. But we can overcome that. Tonight is special. Tonight there's just us, William. The rest of the world doesn't matter. Miss Charlotte, I'm so afraid. Just hold me, William. Nothing will happen. I promise everything will be fine. Well, what do we have here? So, they've officially become their characters, and he's officially become the jealous slave owner husband. Or father, I'm not sure which. Richard, what's going on? What's going on out there? What are all the fires for?
Abby, you were right about this place. There is something rotten here.
Charlotte, you are tainted. You're repulsive to me. Do you understand? Repulsive. Oh, that's sick. Alec, look what they're doing to that chicken.
They do not notice us. There's something possessing them. Something inhuman.
This thing that you've consorted with is lower than an animal. Between you, you fouled the name of Roberta Land. You are no longer fit to bear my children. Oh, no. Oh, Wesley, please. Please, Mr. Linder. Can somebody tell me what's going on? I don't know. I mean, I can't think straight. I keep getting pictures in my head, terrible pictures, all that blood, all that cruelty. Now Charlotte here has often said that we're all no different beneath the skin. I propose we put that to the test. Take this creature downstairs to the cellar and flay it. Oh God, Wesley, don't. Mr. Jackson, please, Mr. Jackson, I didn't mean no harm. A lady asked me in. Mr. Jackson, tell them, let go of me. Wesley, I'll do anything. Please stop. Please, Wesley. Wesley, you're hurting my arm. Where are you taking? You're coming to watch, Charlotte. All right? Over by that post will be fine. No, no. No, no, no. Oh, God, no. Oh, God, Alec. Can you feel it? It's coming to life. The whole place is coming to life. Now, shall we begin? Next, strange fruit. I have a feeling that the graveyard is going to bear fruit that comes to life before they flay this poor guy who right now is not acting. He's totally in character of the past, as they all are. And even you've got this assistant or this other guy who's playing. He's an extra, but now he's acting as one of the slaves. And he's like holding her face and holding her eyes open so she has to watch. And it looks like zombies. And this is back to Beset and Totleben. So Alfredo Akela filled in for one issue. Lots of fire, including on Swamp Thing, so might not be good. A beautiful page. He tried. A century of staring at the ceiling, longing to stretch, to yawn without the jaws falling off, longing to rub the cobwebs from your sockets with yellowed knuckles, and tried. A decade counting the nails over and over, a decade studying the growth of a single fungus, 50 years struggling to remember what peaches smelled like, and tried. Generation after generation of beetles passed before your unblinking gaze. You watched the rise and decline of their miniature dynasties, making up names for each character, often repeating yourself. But it was no good. He couldn't sleep. Amazing. He actually turns on the side, trying to sleep. This is kind of everyone's nightmare of being buried and still somehow having your consciousness and being trapped in this tiny little box 6 feet underground, and for decades, for a lifetime, for an eternity, and counting the nails, you know, living in this nightmare. Above the sunburned topsoil, he sensed the night air, cold and sweet with the promise of a wind. Below all the bitter years, recalling the squandered breaths that you did not savor, believing them to be infinite. Not being aware of our own mortality. Our David Pratt. Finally, he could stand it no longer. Frustrated, sleepless, forgotten about. Does anyone still remember? A fragment of history buried, obsolete, dead, longing to be a seed, to have possibilities again, to send brittle white shoots up into the cold moonlight. He got up. Only, oh, if only you could, to blossom from the grave loam, a hard white pumpkin nodding atop its discolored stem, to be certain of that perfect day when the bone groves yield up their neglected harvest. It was a fine night. Many other people were awake, touched by common breathless excitement. Old enemies embraced as friends, brushing moss from each other's clothing. Long-separated lovers clung together gently, lest their passion should shatter them. If only. After the first exuberance of the resurrection had abated, they quietly discussed what they wanted to do most, now that they were alive again. Some wanted a job and a home and a right to vote, something that African Americans did not have. Some of the women wanted new clothes, and some of the men joked about that. As always, there was an unimaginative majority who only wanted revenge. And they all wanted liberty. That much was unanimous. Freedom. And as ever, they knew where they must go to ask for it. Freedom from this blighted soil where buried grievances have poisoned the roots of the world and all of its cultures. Freedom from these tainted lands that bear such sour fruit. Buried grievances that poison the roots of the world and all its cultures, meaning that slavery is inherent. Slavery, oppression, genocide is inherent in all of the world's cultures. Anywhere you find mankind, anywhere you find human civilization, you find oppression, you find genocide, you find slavery, you find pretty much everything that you're asking for, but didn't want. There's the dead roosters, presumably bleeding out the title, Strange Fruit. And this has the same creative team, except it looks like a little assist also by Ron Randall, as also inking along with Tote Laban. And there's Alice. Alec, this isn't just some stunt to do with the TV series. They're shooting, is it? There's that clamminess in the air, like when you tackled the monkey creature. What is it? What's doing this?
I feel something in the land here, difficult to describe. As if a pattern has been etched upon this place by emotions so fierce and caustic that they burn their imprint into the soil itself.
And even though its design is long since buried, it still guides the footsteps of those who tread the world above. But these extras, they're just ordinary local people, and they're doing all sorts of voodoo as if something, it's as if, hey, look, there's Alice. She helps me with lunch in Elysium Lawns. I met her this morning. Maybe she could tell us what's happening. Alice, hey, wait up.
Alice. Abby. Be careful. The malignancy here is gathering its power.
Calling all its children home again. Hello, Alice. It's me, Abby Cable. You remember. Salt. Have to go lay some more salt. Salt? What, like you were doing in the cemetery this morning? Alice, listen, the wind will have blowed it away. Blowed the salt pattern away. I gotta go. Gotta put down some more. It's the salt, you see. It's the salt what keeps them in. The salt keeps them in the ground. Alice, listen. Something's doing this to this place. It's affecting your mind. Look. Where are the actors, Mr. Deal and Miss Lamb? Inside. White folks all inside now. I gotta go lay salt. Alec, she's raving. Can you follow her and see what she's okay? I'll get everybody out of the place, and then maybe we can evacuate this place.
Yes, But we must hurry. I sense an approaching darkness.
Yep, that's definitely darkness. And it's a lot better drawn than The Walking Dead, by the way. And by the way, that looks like Jimi Hendrix. I don't know if any of these guys look like John Tolleben, but we saw Tolleben's gravestone and Jimi Hendrix's gravestone in a previous issue. And that, with the hair and everything, that looks like Jimi Hendrix. So all these clever asides, they're easily overlooked. Somebody coming, Mr. Jackson. I mean, I just heard the door upstairs. Ah, that would be my dinner guest arriving. I've invited almost everybody. It should be a night to remember. Oh, God. Oh, no, Wesley, please. Charlotte, please compose yourself. We have to go upstairs now and greet our visitors. And please, try to smile. I know I shall. Oh, no. Oh, God. Wesley, what did you do? Please, please, you can't leave him. You can't leave him like that. Wesley, he's alive. Oh, God, he's still alive. Okay, I thought that maybe they wouldn't go through with it in time, but based on his hand and the tilt of his head, they actually cut him open. Good. Perhaps he'll tell the rest of those apes what happens when you try to steal a march on old Wes Jackson. Now get upstairs and stop whimpering. I won't have you upsetting our visitors. I don't know if they expected Abby or if they didn't expect Abby. Wes Jackson, sort of named after maybe like Andrew Jackson. Hi, Mr. Deal, Miss Lamb. Look, I'm sorry, you don't know me, but there's some kind of trouble outside, and I thought maybe it would be safer if you, what's the house? It's changing. What's going on here? My God, she's wearing trousers. Charlotte, is this some friend of yours? This woman that dresses like a man? Charlotte, who's Charlotte? Look, you don't have time to fool around. This whole place is going crazy. Where's Billy Carlton? Wasn't he in here too? William. Oh, my poor William. He skinned him. Oh, God. Oh, God. Down in the cellar. Skinned him with this. Give me that, you adulterous, slave-loving... skinned? Oh, God. Oh, God. What has this place done to you people? Done? What are you talking about? Roberta Land is our home, our way of life. She protects us. Just as we have to protect her reputation from loud-mouthed outsiders who butt in on family disagreements. Oh, geez, listen, please, listen. Your name is Richard Deal. You're an actor. None of this is real. Is that so? He stabbed Abby in the chest. Come on, let's go and see what all that screeching and hollering outside is about. Those savages are kicking up a fit to wake the dead. So, will Abby have to come back to life a second time? That was sudden and shocking. Okay, that's frustrating. Well, you want to talk about cliffhanger? Abby gets stabbed and Comicsology is on the fritz. I don't think it's my internet connection, but everything else seems to be online. Had this happen briefly in one of the other segments where page seemed to get stuck a little bit. Okay, there we are. I don't know if that's the successive page. This is page 9, and this is okay. This page is not numbered. This is 193, and this is 191. So, I'd say this is a technical difficulty that page 192 is missing. Huh. Maybe a refresh will get it. Yes. Guess I should have done that right all along. Sorry about that. And there's Alice with a big handful of salt as the zombies are coming forward. I don't think that's enough salt to stop them. Oh Lord, I'm sorry. I'm too old. I'm too slow. They all awake, all of them. Please, y'all gotta go back to sleep. It ain't the day, not yet. You understand what I'm saying? Can't any of you folk talk no more? Alice, is that you? Daddy. Well, that's pretty sad. Oh, I remember. We couldn't afford no proper plot, so Mama had you buried in all the old slave graveyard. I was a little girl. You used to say how pretty I was. Oh, Daddy, I'm all old. I'm all ugly and old. Why'd you have to wake up and see me like this? Alice, little Alice. Couldn't sleep in that place. Couldn't decay in peace. None of us could. Too much left unsettled. Tonight we are going to demand our freedom. Let me walk there with you, beautiful Alice. Beautiful baby. The parade moves past and does not notice me, as if I am not part of the dream that they walk submerged in, the dream of a dead place, fondly recalling old and cherished horrors. Much like the sunken place of Get Out. But these zombies, or these Walking Dead, or whatever you wish to call them, they're not malevolent, it seems. They really just want to be freed to decay for whatever reason. They cannot, probably because of the history of slavery hasn't been resolved really. So but presumably the actors like Richard are the real problems here. No, it was a fake knife. It was a prop knife. This isn't real. It doesn't hurt. I don't feel wet. I'm not really bleeding. Shit. Miss Lamb, listen, I'm going down to the cellar to get Mr. Carlton. Then we're getting outside. No, you didn't see him. Oh, God, don't make me look at him again. You don't understand. They skinned him with this. So they're seeing visions of what really happened in the past, but they still have prop knives. And so what she was seeing him as being skinned was seeing the past, but hopefully that's not the reality of the present, even if they believe it is at the moment because they're possessed. Cheap tricks and chicken blood. I've warned you people. I've told you I won't have this devil worship around Roberta Land. Now put out these fires and get back to your shacks. Special night for us, Mr. Jackson, is Mystere L'Orient. Zombie walk tonight. Zombie? God, you're like children. Don't you realize this is 1842? Now get back to your homes before I open fire the way I did the last time this happened. No, that can't be right. This hasn't happened before, but I remember firing on the crowd, hit a woman in the stomach, and then the blacks attacked me and fired the other barrel, but too many of them. They beat me to death. Oh God. Dear God, where am I? You're back in the place of pain, Wesley Jackson. We are all back in the place of pain. Because the pain cannot be buried and forgotten. The pain cannot remain in the past or hidden beneath the soil. That which is buried is not gone. That which is planted will grow. There is a weed that thrives upon neglect and flourishes in the darkness. Untended, it becomes a tree of the night, and its boughs sag beneath the unbearable weight of what it has brought forth. What do you want with me? We want our freedom. If freedom is not given, then we must all repeat this night of pain and suffering until freedom comes, even if it takes forever. The dead have forever. This is my land. This is the way of life my family work for. You can go to hell.
You are already there. All of you. You must break this terrible cycle. The pattern you laid down so long ago has grown into a maze that traps the living.
Get back to whatever heathen inferno spawned you, creature. I will not have this juju on my land.
No, the atrocity that happened here must not be repeated. I will not tolerate.
Blam. So they've never really purged racism or slavery. You know, they just try to cover it up. A lot of people just try to bury it, try to ignore it, try to pretend that it's in the past without actually addressing the issues and any kind of resolution. So what he's saying is essentially you're just going to repeat this hellish this hellish cycle, where it continues to exist even if it doesn't exist in the current form of actual slavery. And everyone continues to suffer on both sides as a result. Alec, it's okay. I get them out. They're both in shock, but... oh, jeez. So he got shot in the stomach, and he fell back into the flames. Alec, oh, God. What's happening out here? The fire has been fired. The shot has been fired, as before. And he shot someone in the stomach. It begins again. Nope, he didn't let it go.
No, I will not allow this evil to continue.
No, not my house is all that's dear to me. You can't. So I guess he's going to run to the house and burn it down. Even though, of course, he's on fire too. If the bad tree is to be destroyed, you must not bury its fruit. You must burn out the roots. The fire consumes me, crackling like the current, down wires of summer parts creeper. For an instant I recall another man who burned, his fierce suffering welling up from a borrowed memory. Holland. Holland died like this. The recollection vanishes in searing redness. I see weary cadavers rushing to embrace the consuming, liberating flame. I see a mansion turned to back cinder while a white man screams within it. And then green. Only green. So I'm burning down the mansion. You can see the tiny silhouetted figures of the dead rushing in to burn themselves and finally be able to rest in peace. Swamp Thing, his corporeal body is destroyed, of course, once again, and he just returns to the green in his essence, and he will reform himself once again in the bayou, or wherever, I guess, in Louisiana, I suppose, as he does right here. Actually, amongst the burned corpses, he springs up. It's always so interesting to see this evolution, you know, how strange and sort of abstract he is. Hi. You know, you missed one hell of a fire.
Yes. Why is everyone still standing around?
They're in shock. Come on. I already called an ambulance. We better get out of here before somebody realizes you're not an hallucination. I think most of them will be okay. I found Alice, and she only remembers it as some kind of dream. They'll block out what happened here and get on with their lives. They'll be okay. He may not want them to block it out, but... Something strange happening here. Most of them. Billy, my love, you're all right. It's me. It's Angie. Billy, I don't know what happened to us. I don't know what's going on inside your mind, but oh God, this nightmare, this horror. I looked into the heart of it, Billy, and it knew me. I knew what I was, and I knew what I was too. And, oh, Billy, I don't want to be that way anymore. Billy, everything feels so much different. I'm going to make you get better. It's all going to be okay, I promise. I promise all the hurt will stop, and it will all be okay. Oh, Billy. Oh, Billy, my love. Okay, he looks down and he still feels skinned alive, which I assume is metaphorical, because it's not yet okay. There's still a lot of healing to be done. And here's the director, who may be crazy, I'm not sure.
They were not the only casualties.
No, the director, Dennis Linder. He's in a really profound shock. Couldn't even talk. And Richard Deal, he just ran into the house when it started burning and didn't come out. I guess the place had a really tight grip on him, right up until the last.
Perhaps it found some convenient fingerhold in him, some handle by which he could be dragged deeper.
You mean like Constantine leading you into one insane situation after another by promising you knowledge?
Yes. Yes, perhaps you're right. I have not seen him in weeks. Perhaps he has abandoned his game. Perhaps he has forgotten about me.
Let's hope so.
Abby, were the dead creatures all destroyed in the fire?
Yeah. I mean, there didn't seem to be as many bodies in the ashes as there were last night, but yeah, they must have been destroyed. Where else would they have gone? That clearly suggests that some of them were not destroyed. And I guess we may see where they've gone, and we'll probably see Constantine returning. If not the next page, then soon enough. Well, that looks like her father, perhaps. No, this is a disaster. Everybody gets drunk or something. The set burns down, the leading man's dead, and now somebody's ripped off the camera truck. Well, hiring these kind of people as extras, that's going to happen? I mean, hell, I ain't no bigot. No, some jerk, who probably can't drive in my camera truck. What if they scratch my lenses? Fernandez brothers. Cameraman's worried about his lenses. Another guy is a little bit racist and worried about his truck. And there is the truck. Just outside Monroe, Louisiana, 11:47 a.m. Now, let's get this straight. You saw the accident and there were people in this thing? That's right. Hell, they were swerving all over the place like they never driven no automobile before. So, okay, some zombies escaped and the camera truck crashed into a electrical pole and wandered off into the swamp. I was some way off, but I saw them crash. They were going about 70 and 8 or 80. I guess, and then they got out of the wreck and they walked off laughing. Africa, blood and guts. Looks you straight in the eye and spits. Well, now, as it happens, we do need someone to look after the ticket office. To be frank, it ain't much of a job, and we have trouble keeping people. Springfield, Arkansas, 9:35 p.m. First motion picture to require a face-to-face warning. Maybe the last shock film you will ever want to see. Twitch of the death nerve. See, all you do is sit in this cramped little box and sell tickets. A lot of people can't take that. Yeah, he's been in a cramped little box for decades, maybe a century. It'll be fine. When do I start? Dawn of the Dead, Orgy of the Living Dead, Night of the Living Dead. So all kinds of funny asides again. Ilsa, harem keeper of the oil sheiks. Sliver your liver. Well, right now, if it's convenient, I mean, but listen, we're kind of short-handed, and this is a 24-hour joint. You might be in here a while. All week, if you like. All week? No, I mean, a long stint without a meal break or a bathroom break. So do I. This smells good. Well, it's just ordinary cheap popcorn. Listen, we haven't discussed pay. Not important. Whatever you like. This is my box now. My box. Yeah, sure, your box. Listen, I mean, I like your attitude. You don't whine about conditions or union stuff. They don't make workers like you anymore. In my other business, I could use 10 guys like you. Oh, I think that could be arranged. This is my box. My own little window. These are my tickets. Right, listen, I gotta leave. Dinner date, like they say, eat, drink, and be merry for tomorrow. For tomorrow may never come. Forget it. I gotta go. I'll see you tomorrow. Geez. Is it that late already? So Alice's father did not get into the flame, and then he just wanders off all the way to Arkansas, and he's just really happy being in a box office, selling tickets, and maybe hook up his zombie friends with this guy who needs some more cheap labor. And the next issue, the next episode is called Windfall. And It's another portrait of Swamp Thing by Michael Zolli, as was used as the first of 6 foil stamped chase cards in the Vertigo trading card set released by Skybox in 1994. And despite its commercial background, absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Michael Zolli, incredibly talented artist, worked on Sandman. But you can see when he has time to work, just stunning work there. And then we're going to have another discussion of the creators. And that is the end of book 3, fortunately. We'll be on to book 4 next. And then 5 and 6. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. This was episode 7 of the Swamp Thing reading. And by all means, if you have any comments, questions, or anything you wish to say, please say so below if you listen to this eventually. So thanks very much for listening, and see you next time. Thanks very much. Bye.